Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, his name is Scotty Westside.
My name is Scotty Westside. And
My name is Obara-san.
This is what I believe. Let me explain to you. Let me explain
You have to be
in clear detail.
You have to do the worst cringe face, just like the whole time.
My name is Scotty Westside. This is me frowning. I feel like I pulled a muscle in my neck doing that.
No, that was from last night.
Oh, hey-oh.
Hey-oh,
I just
we're back.
aggravated that injury. That old.
Yeah,
injury.
it doesn't reach your neck. Let's be honest.
I don't even. So confused by it. How are you doing, pal?
You know, man, you know what? I'm doing good.
Are
I'm
you?
doing good. I had a nice long weekend. I got to see
true,
your
actually.
booty hole.
You did get to see my booty hole. We hung out a little bit. You were up in town.
I was in town.
We had some sick eats. Had a good time. Hung
we
out.
did actually have some good food. Amanda and I went up to Dallas. We got some new tattoos this weekend. That was fun. Got to see Scotty. Been watching an ass fuck of One Piece.
True.
It's just been good. It's been a good time. I'm doing great. I am very sleepy though. I don't think I've really caught up sleep wise from the long weekend, but I am good otherwise.
Yeah, if our energy is a little below normal this episode, viewers / listeners, I apologize, but I don't apologize because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This episode is kind of the worst.
What?
B,
no.
I am getting over a cold. You might be able to tell I'm still a little nasally and congested.
Yeah, you look like shit.
Thanks, bud. I love you too. Also, this is the first time we've recorded in a while. We used to do this all the time, but like after work for me, nowadays we usually record on my days off. So I'm tired from that. I'm still recovering from this cold. You haven't slept.
Baby.
This episode sucks. It's just winning all around. If I'm not selling you to stay and watch this episode, this is great for the watch time. If I'm not selling you to stick around till the end, I don't know what will. That's why I'm the professional here. Really giving people the hard sell out here. So
hell yeah, you're giving me the hard something. Yeah, hey, before we jump into today's episode, got a quick plug here. Gonna do this at the top of the episode. As many of you guys have probably heard already, I have a second podcast that is launching with our good friend Sam from Harry Potter and the Half Drunk podcast called the Death Wish Podcast. Do not ask us why that is the name, because we don't know, but it's definitely going to be a fun time. We've recorded our first episode, and you can find us on the social medias at Death Wish Pod, and we have a release date.
Oh, this is exciting.
We're going for March 22nd. Wow. So we're still a couple months out. We are going to try and bank up a couple episodes, but we're doing the damn thing. So yeah, we've got that whole thing going on. We would love it if you guys hung out. And if you guys know us, you probably know that we're gonna have probably some reoccurring guests pretty frequently. I am voluntolding you, Scott, that you'll probably pop in. Emily will probably pop in. You'll pop on if pop off a piece of my dick.
Yeah, I'll pop off a piece of something.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the thing. Go do the damn thing.
I appreciate you really building the hype on this one, because you're like, don't worry, folks. We have a release date coming at you soon in 6 months' time.
Dude, actually, our release date is when Silk Song comes out.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. That's
Yeah.
That's set in stone. Definitely gonna happen.
Yes,
that is awesome. I also love that you always have a very concrete reasoning for things. The Death Wish name. You got a moth tattoo, and I asked you why a moth, and you were like, ugh. So
it looks cool.
You're always like just dead on with your logic and reason. And I love that about you, buddy.
Yeah, you're man. That's my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you can also, as always, I never do this at the top of the episode. It's so weird here. You can always find us at We Don't Want a Pod. Twitter and Instagram is where we are the most active. Instagram, really. But neither of them, really. We're not great on the socials, if we're being totally honest.
I don't know what even that is, an Instagram
just subscribe on whatever podcast listening app, and that's the best way to know when we put out an episode.
We are just giving the people the best content in the world right now.
People like when we're real, Scott.
This is actually, about as real as it gets. They probably don't. They don't
probably
really want to know
the real us.
Yeah. Shall we jump in and hit this recap, buddy? Let's hit this season 5, episode 6, Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken.
Sounds good.
The
Let's
most
do the
exciting
damn thing.
of the episodes.
So we begin in the House of Black and White, where Arya sure to be cleaning those dead bodies still. It's still happening. She plays the lying game with Jaqen and the waif a little bit, but she's really bad at it. A man comes in with his sick daughter, and Arya lies to them about being healed, then kills this sick daughter with the poison fountain. Fucking, she gave him the old razzle-dazzle.
She did hard.
Jaqen thinks this is pretty rad. So he's like, hey, I like you. You can come hang out down in the basement, and you can check out all these creepy-ass fucking faces on our walls.
Zach is going off on his own at this point. I did not, in fact, write that.
This is exactly what Scotty wrote here. He says she's not ready to become no one, but she is ready to become someone else. Somewhere in Essos, Tyrion and Jorah continue their journey after having a heart-to-heart talk about their daddies. Tyrion tells Jorah about how Jeor Mormont, the old bear, and Jorah, died. Yeah, he tells him about how he died.
Yes, he did.
And Jorah tells Tyrion about Daenerys and the fire and the birth of her dragons. Then they get captured by pirates, and now we've got to find a cock merchant. That is just the natural progression of the story.
How that goes. Yeah.
Tyrion and Jorah talk them into taking them to Meereen for Jorah to compete in the fighting pits. So they got a free ticket.
Hell yeah.
Littlefinger has arrived back in King's Landing and assures Cersei that the Knights of the Vale will fight for Tommen if war resumes. Littlefinger then tells her that Sansa is alive and is marrying Ramsay at Winterfell. Cersei is furious, and Littlefinger manipulates her into letting him be the new Warden of the North after he defeats whoever wins the battle between Stannis and the Boltons.
Meanwhile, in Dorne, our favorite,
in the Batcave,
Prince Doran thinks that Myrcella and Prince Thumbring make a nice couple. He tells Axe bodyguard man that they must protect them. Bronn and Jaime have arrived at the Water Gardens.
Axe body spray man.
Axe body spray man he goes great with Prince Thumbring, honestly. Him and Prince Thumbring are best friends.
And then what are what are Jaime's and Bronn's names?
Oh yeah, Darnell and Cooper.
Darnell and Cooper and Prince Thumbring and Mr. Axe body spray.
They're all gonna get together and have a grand old time.
That, dude.
Darnell and Cooper have arrived at the Water Gardens and figuratively waltz right in to take Princess Myrcella, conveniently right as the Sand Snakes arrive to kill her or something. I'm not sure. A fight happens. Then Axe Bodyguard shows up and Obara Sand starts Obara Sand posting. Everyone is captured by the Dornish guards, and Bronn gets a little cut on the arm. Stick that in your bonnet for later. Not later tonight, next episode. Finally, like a breath of fresh air, our girl, Olenna Tyrell, returns to King's Landing. She threatens to end the alliance with Cersei and the Lannisters, but Cersei assures her that this is not a trial, that the Faith Militants are only going to have a hearing to determine if there is merit to the charges against Loras. they have the hearing, and Oliver testifies against Loras, so there will be a full trial. Queen Marjorie is also arrested for lying in her testimony. Cersei is very pleased with herself, and Tommy Boy sits there and does nothing as per usual. In Winterfell, Miranda tries to scare Sansa with stories about what Ramsay has done to other girls, but Sansa isn't having any of it. The wedding is held in the Winterfell Godswood. Sansa has now been forced to marry men she's hated twice. After the wedding, in an absolutely horrible scene, Ramsay forces Theon to stay in the room and watch while he proceeds to forcibly have his way with poor Sansa. And that is the end of Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken, a remarkable episode of Game of Thrones for maybe all the wrong reasons, I would say.
Yeah.
Zach, what's your broad strokes take on this bad boy? I kind of already gave you mine. So
well, I mean, I think the first thing is that this ending scene is absolutely fucking brutal.
It's awful.
And to cap off one of the worst Game of Thrones episodes that has ever existed with a scene that is just not necessary to put. It's just so triggering and uncomfortable. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a good episode.
No.
It's not a good episode for a lot of reasons, and then that is just the icing on the cake. I mean, it's
completely agreed. Like, I mean, not only just from a writing, a storytelling, a production, and everything
standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. The like you said, to top it off, the scene at the end. And, you know, I don't intend for us to spend a ton of time rehashing this. This was obviously a huge discourse when this episode came out about the way this was portrayed and whether it was necessary and how it was done is potentially problematic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's just, again, like, it's just not a good episode in any way. Like, in any way, shape, or form. Like, as I was writing this recap, I was like, oh, sick. Okay, whew, finally something good. We get Olenna back at the very least. And then she kind of does nothing.
And she kind of gets worked, which is not good for her character.
She calls, not to, get too far ahead of ourselves here, but she calls Cersei a tart, which is very funny. But that's kind of all she does. And I'm like, wow, even Olenna is letting me down in this episode. That's a big yikers. So this will probably not be our longest episode of the We Don't Want It podcast ever, because I just don't feel like beating this one up too much. Like, we'll talk about it here in a little bit and probably, wrap it up relatively quickly. Arya making progress, at least. Like, we've talked a little bit about how her storyline is not the most exciting in this season. We love Arya, big Arya stans, but this is just kind of a slog.
To be fair, like the first time I watched Game of Thrones years and years ago, there was a lot of intrigue here.
Sure, fair.
And I did enjoy kind of exploring that and like waiting for what's to come. However, it does not change the fact that I also felt like it was crawling.
Yeah.
It just takes so long to get anything of substance in Arya's storyline right now. So
she sure do be cleaning those bodies.
Yeah, dude. She is wax on, wax off. Like, I don't know, man. It's something. But
Truly.
That's a whole thing. It's, she does like practice her lying skills with the young girl, and then she kills the young girl, and it's like, damn, this is just riveting.
A mercy killing, I suppose you could say, but it's just like, it's just so out of like left field and nowhere. And then it's just like Jaqen comes up and is like, hey, yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm into that. Let me show you this hall of faces
and
now.
I also have to say that like the like mystery, like not gonna say much and just like creep around. It is interesting, and those things are cool, but like, boy, is it being a little overdone.
Yes,
here.
it's
like,
wearing thin. That's what I was gonna say. You can only play that card and ride that train so long before
before I bust. You can only ride so long before I'm just done.
For you, it's a very short amount of time.
Not very long at all.
It's not very long at all. But yes, at least we are getting some progress with Arya by the end of this sequence. So I suppose that's some progress.
Yeah.
The Tyrion and Jorah scenes are fine. Like they're nothing to write home about. I do.
It is the most like acting that we've seen from Peter Dinklage in this season, so I didn't hate it.
I agree. I thought you were going to say the most acting in this episode, and I was going to be like, no, the most acting is Obara Sand for sure. Definitely not quality, but like volume-wise,
sure is acting.
She is certainly acting. Anyway, I can't wait to get to that.
I can.
Yes, this is a solid scene. Like we loved Jorah Mormont, obviously, and you know this is obviously very shocking news for his estranged son, and it's a solid little moment I think between the two of them. And then you know like how I did like Jorah's part too, where he's like, yeah, I used to be like you, I used to be a cynic, but it's kind of hard to be a cynic after you basically saw what I saw with Daenerys surviving the fire and the dragons being born.
Right.
So yeah, solid moment between the two of them. I got no beef with that. The cock merchant part is
I love that the dialogue here is like, we should tell everybody that Tyrion has a big dick.
True. It's like, let's make sure everyone knows.
To know it's a dwarf cock. Well, it'll be a dwarf-sized cock. Think again.
Yeah. Dinklage put that in his contract and be like, hey, I want everyone to know I got a big dick this season. Let's make that a plot point.
That's so good.
But yeah, now they gotta ride the marine, I guess, so they be winning.
Yeah.
I guess. They are slaves now, but sure.
Yeah.
Anything else about those two you want to talk about?
No, nothing.
Excellent. Okay, someone who actually is genuinely kind of maybe winning, I forgot about this, is Littlefinger.
Yeah. True.
He do be manipulating Cersei. I love how he's like, hey, don't worry, I got Tommy boys back. The Knights of the Vale will fight for you. Hey, but also before that, maybe my Knights of the Vale can fight this whole northern situation to square that away. Well, this is a solid plan. Like his reasoning for like, hey, before they can regroup after this battle, let's just sweep in there and clean them out. Let's do the whole third party. This is very Apex third party logic.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he plays it really well, like, or he plays it off really well because he's like, I mean, come on, your Uncle Kevin, he can send an army, and she's like, no. He's like, well, what about this or that? What about this? You know, and like it makes it seem as if he's like, well, I mean, we can help.
Right. Like he wasn't planning this from the beginning. That's a good call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, he's playing the game and he's doing it well.
Because she even says like, you're not a military man, forgive me, blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, listen, what do you have to lose? Like a brothel keeper. Like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
So yes, all lined up to make him the new Warden of the North. Good for him. Do you want to hit the other King's Landing stuff now?
Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get it out of the way.
So the Olenna and Cersei scene, yeah, I'm just kind of shocked at how kind of nothing Olenna does. This isn't like her. Like Cersei is honestly an opponent kind of beneath her too.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing?
You know what? I think that is why, like it's almost how like like somebody who's on your same like intellectual level, like you can have a thoughtful argument and reach a point of agreement or working with or a handshake, right?
Sure.
But somebody who is just so in their own head and doing their own thing and stupid and will not see reason. She's like, I have nothing else that I can do other than accept defeat. Like, she's so irrational that there's no other choice.
That's a good way of looking at it. Because, yeah, she's basically just like, hey, what if I just ended this alliance with the Lannisters? And Cersei is, of course, playing the ultimate. Oh, I didn't do anything. Playing dumb big time.
Right. Because Olenna would never even have to say those words if she was dealing with Tywin.
To Tywin, yes.
Yeah, like she's having to play beneath her right now is what's happening.
Agreed. Her calling her Queen Cersei the famous tart. Again, very funny. Big fan of that. But yeah.
There is... Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. No, I need to interject here. There is actually one other great line in regards to Cersei.
Which is?
And it's when Cersei's talking with Littlefinger about Loras being locked up. Like, he's basically like, hey, you're kind of doing something real stupid here. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know. She's basically blowing it off and says something about well, like how, like, I have nothing to do with who he chooses to sleep with. And he says, one's choice of companion is a curious thing. And her face goes stone cold, just like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, Littlefinger has always had a flair for doing those, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say it outright, but you know exactly that I'm really sticking it to you. Then obviously there's the hearing. Loras, big denial mode, but they have Olivar as their ace in the hole, and he fully spills all the beans against Loras.
Why just spill your beans?
And spoiler, old High Sparrow does not miss his chance to also implicate Queen Marjorie in this by getting her on the stand first, just to get her to lie, so then she can also be arrested.
Dude, Tommen,
fucker, dude.
No, I'm more mad at Tommen and Cersei here.
I mean, sure, but also I've decided I hate the High Sparrow. Like, I do not like this fucking guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
He fucking sucks.
Is there anyone out there who stands for the High Sparrow? I don't know,
but like I feel like before, maybe I'm just not remembering, but I feel like before I was always just kind of didn't care or neutral on him, but I'm just like, I do not like this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy boy, like, listen, like, I can't even be mad at him because it's like, this is what he does, is sit there and look like, oh, what do I do? Like, the poor kid is in so far over his head. He is just drowning, and Cersei thinks she be winning, but you know, we'll see how that goes as well. So yeah, not great times for the Tyrell household, with both Marjorie and Loras arrested, and Olenna now. We'll see what she can work up. No,
she can muster,
and no Mace here, so the Tyrells really be losing. Like, I mean,
Mace is still assumed to be in.
He's probably in
Braavos,
transit.
Right?
Yeah, probably in transit to Braavos, I would assume.
Okay, all right.
I think we see him later this season, if memory serves correctly.
I think you're right.
Let's go. Oh boy, time for Dorne, I guess.
Oh.
Our favorite place in all the land. Okay, here's where this episode really, like, I was already like not having a good time with this episode, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where the episode truly went from I'm not having fun with this to this episode is pissing me off.
To someone call my mommy. Mommy, come pick me up.
No.
I don't want to stay here.
This was a furious stuff. Someone call my boys because I want to go beat somebody up. That's what this was.
Oh, okay. That kind of phone call. Right. I've had a few of those in my day.
Yeah. That bottle scar on your forehead, right?
Uh-huh.
One of the very few good things we get in this episode is my boy Braun's lovely singing voice.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Except Jamie can't even let us have that. Braun even tells him, this song really is all about the ending. Like, you should really let me finish this song. And Jamie in this episode are like, no, fuck you. You don't even get that.
Fuck you and fuck the fans.
Yes. I just want to hear Braun sing. He's got a lovely voice.
Yes.
He's my guy.
So can we point out some dumb shit here?
Oh, I would love to. Please.
Okay. So Jamie and Braun,
Cooper and
Darnell Cooper and Darnell. Who are those guys?
Yeah.
They get caught off the beach in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Uh-huh.
And they somehow are just able to quite literally, like, hardly even crouched over. They're not even sneaking.
No.
They just they just walk in.
They are full on, like, if this was some kind of stealth game, they are just in full on sprint mode when you're not trying to be
They haven't unlocked the ability to crouch yet.
Yeah, that's locked behind the skill tree. Also, their fucking guard uniforms are covered in blood. Like, it's not even subtle.
Old Thumb Ring notices right away.
Prince Thumb Ring notices instantly.
Dude. It's really fucking
like
bad,
a
dude.
washer, by the way. It's not even a ring. That thing is so thick. He'd be wearing that thing.
Yeah.
It's so, and just like
it's wearing him, really.
The ring is wearing him. The timing is just so unbelievably convenient too, with like, oh, the sand snakes just happen to be here. That listen, I understand. I'm not trying to like get too far in the weeds of. I understand this is a story and plot conveniences.
Right.
But like when the execution is this bad, you got to kind of start calling out everything.
Yes.
This fight choreography and the way it was shot was done by a 10-year-old, I swear. What is happening to the show?
One-handed Jamie was shooting this fucking scene.
One-handed Jamie with the cameras like, oh wait, no, other hand.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I'm just shocked. It's like, I feel like I'm watching an entirely different television program than what we have gotten for the first 4 seasons. I don't understand it.
And even the way that the big dude,
oh my
body
God,
spray, pulls out his axe.
Thank you.
And just, it would have been a fight when you were whole or whatever.
I had to watch that like 3 times, Zach. I shit you not, because like, it's like the slowest him pulling up the axe, and then they just cut forward like 100 frames. It's just the sharpest, most jarring of jump cuts to him putting the axe at Jamie's neck, and I'm like, oh, was that supposed to intend like he's like good and fast and competent? Because that looked terrible. That looked like that was his first day holding an axe.
That looked like he hit a lag spike in a video game and just like fucking he rubber banded.
He forgot to check his connection, but he did not forget to put on that body spray for sure. It's bad. It sucks and it's awful.
Yeah, it is really, really, really
but
bad.
The best part is mid-fight, Obara Sand is like, I need to tell everyone who I am.
In the middle of the fight, dude.
My name is Obara Sand.
Oh my God.
I feel almost bad for how much we pick on her, but it's legitimately, I'm starting to like her. It's so funny.
No. You know what I also notice is like towards the end of the fight when they start breaking it up, Jesus. Oh my God. Braun. He talks some shit to the cute one, the pixie haired chick. Yeah. And she like lunges and like tries to like cat.
She literally tries to cat
she's
scratch
like,
him.
Like she makes this ugly like noise. It's so cringe.
I'm pretty sure she just meowed straight up like meow.
Dude.
And then
it's the worst
even
shit
when
ever.
like the guards rush in to like grab Ilaria, it's like the most fakest like where do I go? Where do I run? And I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, dude.
Dorn, why
Budget
have you
cuts,
let me
man.
down?
There's a lot of spending in the last few episodes of this season. It's budget cuts, man.
Truly, like
it has to be. It's so bad.
If anyone out there is doing a rewatch and has not rewatched this episode, just skip to, I don't know, episode 8-ish, if memory serves correctly. you won't miss much.
Yeah.
Last thing here is the Winterfell stuff. And like I said, I don't think we need to dwell on this too much.
No. The one thing that I feel like needs to be said is just, I know I've brought attention to this before, but it is kind of aggravating how George Martin writes most women. Like not like you don't have to be, R-worded. You don't have to come from shit to be a strong female character. Like,
right.
You don't have to be dragged through the fucking mud to be a strong female character. And I just feel like that is his go-to, and it's a little aggravating.
Yeah.
And also just from a show running perspective, like that was a choice. I don't know. I struggle because like there's part of it that's like, hey, this happens to women all the time.
Yeah.
And it needs to be like, you need to see how, like if you're uncomfortable,
sure,
you mean watching, like there's a part of that is, I think is important and I think deserves to be talked about. But like, I don't know, man. I guess I don't really know how to feel. I'm just a guy, I guess. But I don't know. It's fucked up.
No,
I hate it.
I don't think we're, especially qualified to, fully comment on this. Like I said, there was plenty of discourse surrounding this when this episode aired. And I think, a lot of the complaints and, around it are certainly valid. And it's just, if you're going,
it's a choice, and it's like,
it was a choice. And if you're going to tell this story in this way, which again, like to kind of defend George a little bit here, this does not happen to Sansa in the books.
Right.
In this instance anyway. And it's just like, I feel like you could have done it better if this was really the choices you were going to make, and maybe, reevaluate those choices too while you're at it. But,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, from a character progression and story writing perspective, it's like, we had the turn from Sansa. Like, Sansa was beat down and like in the shit for the first 3 whole seasons. And then she had her character turn, and now what are we doing? We're back to where her just being powerless again. And it's just, I don't know. Anyway.
It's also very fucked up to have Theon in that room and like make him watch.
Yes.
It's so fucked, man.
The whole thing is fucked.
All of it's so fucked.
Yes. To close on a positive here, because I did forget to mention this a minute ago. Okay, so normally when we do these episodes, I have like several sections of notes where it's like general thoughts and great lines. There is literally nothing in my general thoughts section of notes. And I have one line in the great lines that I do want to call out, which is between our boys Cooper and Darnell. When Jamie tells Bronn, like when they're about to go in, Jamie just basically tells him, "I like to improvise." And Bronn goes, "That explains the golden hand," which is very, very good. Bronn, he stays winning always, no matter what, it seems.
That is a pretty true statement. Boy, this is an episode, man. This is surely an episode.
Surely is an episode that exists. Zach, we have to now do the maybe impossible and find 5 people
terrified
who be thrown in to win this episode. There are extremely few candidates, and we might really be scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is like the people who get the points for these matches. They are like finding a loophole in the system. Like if you getting like a #1 ranking from this episode versus like some other episodes is they should not be equal, but I suppose the stats will tell the story at the end of the day. they are equal.
Right.
Where we last left off, Jon Snow continued his season 5 tear at number 1. Our guy, Maester Aemon, was at 2. Tormund. I wanted to call him Torrin there for a second. Tormund was at 3.
Torrin Karstark.
Roose Bolton was at 4, and Stannis Baratheon was at 5. Literally none of them. Well, no, Roose was in this episode. Roose was the only one that was in this episode, and he might be one of the few that has an argument to stay. I think everyone else can come off. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's not supposed to happen. Don't pay any attention to that.
There's a little treat for you YouTube watchers.
We all know that Scott is the best production man.
Fucking goated,
in all the land. Let's see. Pulling these guys. Who do you think actually does have a case to make the list here, bud?
I think the man, and it's okay. So the only one I feel like is like a standout, like obviously this needs to be like, and he'll probably have to be first because he's the only one that actually makes sense, I think, is Littlefinger.
I 100% agree. I think I as we were kind of getting into the episode, I was like thinking as we were going, I was like, boy, who the fuck is gonna make the list? No one has a great episode. I was like, you know what? Littlefinger kind of did everything.
His plan is unfolding in the north. He's working the shit out of Cersei.
Yes.
I mean, he's the only one making moves. Correct. And he's playing the game very well here, I feel like.
Agreed. So. I think he has to go 1. I think I'm going to throw out Bronn just because, like I said, Bronn, no matter what else is happening, Bronn kind of stays winning.
True.
He, he has funny dialogue. He has a lovely singing voice. He almost got his eyes cat scratched out, but he's fine for now. Because I don't know who else to even suggest Zach, so I'm gonna suggest Bronn.
Okay, we could. This is a double-edged sword, but Cersei can go up because she wants Marjorie, and basically she wants the Tyrells.
The Tyrells are kind of neutralized for now, so that is a win for her.
Even though she doesn't understand the problem that she's actually creating.
Right. So I will shake to that.
Okay. And do we want to keep Homeboy on the list? What the fuck is his name
Roose,
again?
I can definitely see an argument for Roose. The other one I just thought of, well, actually several. Arya, because she is progressing in her training.
Boy, what a terrible episode that small, tiny development in her story is considering her for the throne and list.
Listen, we said this would be scraping the bottom of the barrel. We also did have good conversation, talked about how Tyrion and Jorah's scene was pretty decent. I mean, they did get enslaved, but...
Yeah, well, and yes, they're enslaved, but now they don't have to walk to Marine.
Oh, true.
They have a boat ride.
Tyrion was not a fan of the walking.
I don't know, man. That is rough.
Listen, I don't know who... we have to find 5 people, Zach.
Okay.
And our usual suspects being like Jon, Daenerys, others are just not in this episode at all.
Yeah.
Boy, who
and a lot of people
this
take
episode,
L's.
by the way?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
I can't find Jorah. Who are you? Will this give us? How many will this give us once I find Jorah? Is Jorah
I think
here?
this gives us everybody we need, even if Jorah's not on there. So.
Okay. Do you think would Jorah be your odd man out anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna stop looking for him then. No, so we still need to cut 1 then. We have 6 up here.
Well, let's start putting some up.
Okay.
Who's second? I think it's either
Bronn. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Is it? All right. I was gonna say it's either Roos or Cersei because they're the only ones that like actually are winning. I mean, Bronn just got captured.
I don't even know about Roos, to be honest with you. Like,
I mean,
what does he actually do in this episode?
Well, it's more his position. I feel
It's
like
his
he
position.
just had he married a Stark to his house.
Yeah, he did kind of solidify his power in the North.
In theory.
I still go Bronn at 2, personally.
Okay, I'll take it, man. I have my opinions on this episode are so lukewarm that it's so whatever.
Fair enough. And I feel like if I have a strong opinion about this episode, it's that Bronn lost 0 points in my mind. He's still awesome, and I still love him. After
Cersei.
that, thank you. I was about to say I really don't care.
Bronn.
Cersei go 3.
I mean, not Bronn.
Bronn's already up there.
Roos.
Roos, okay. Roos go 4, and then we're choosing between Arya and
I think
Tyrion.
Arya. Arya, one of these two people did not get captured to become a slave.
That's true. Okay.
Let's go with Arya.
I will definitely shake to that. Okay, I am hiding Tyrion. Roos go 4. I feel like Arya's been at 5. If I remember looking at the stats correctly, I feel like Arya has had a nice little home here in 5 this season, the 5 spot.
It's the Arya hole.
Yeah, she's been sneaking onto those lists. Okay, yay, hooray, we made it through the worst To Be Thrown of all time. That is going to be our list for this week. Littlefinger takes the top spot. He is the only one making any kind of sensible moves. Bronn, because he's just a baller in our hearts always and forever, is 2. Cersei, for now, has kind of neutralized the Tyrells, so she goes 3. Roos, kind of solidifying his hold in the North at 4. And Arya, she's ready to become someone else. So good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her. And
Scott.
Good for me for not actually clicking the wrong thing for once. Did you notice that?
I mean, you did drag our background off the screen.
Shut up.
So.
Nope. We're not talking about that.
Scott, what are you rating this episode?
I am rating this episode a 2.5 out of 10.
Remember that our rating scale is supposed to be based off of Game of Thrones episodes.
Okay.
So does that imply that you think there is a worse Game of Thrones episode?
No.
Because I think I'm giving this episode a 1.
I'll give it a flat 2.
I'm giving it a 1.
I'll give it a flat 2.
I'm giving it a 1.
That's fine. Reasons I can't explain. I'm going to be fully honest, Zach. I think I just this second realized we forgot to rate the last episode.
No,
so good
really?
for us. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. That's just that.
It's been like 2 weeks since we recorded.
True.
So, that was an episode. Scott, look, bud, I just got to tell you, we made it through it, and I wouldn't do this with anybody else. I wouldn't talk about season 5, episode 6 with anybody other than you.
Thanks, buddy.
I love you, pal. And you keep me going when we have to plow through this dumb shit. So I can't wait for the end of this season, which will be fun, and to get into and actually back to a great season.
Can't wait.
Good season.
If you watched this whole episode after we did a great job of building it up in the beginning to bless you.
We love you guys.
We love you. For sure.
Yeah. And also we don't like to be downers here on the show. I mean, look, we like to have fun and talk about great things. But this was just a very difficult one to do that with. So thank you for bearing with us, and go do the nice podcast things that we always ask you to do. I'm actually going to ask for a specific thing.
For the true homies who watched to the end of the episode.
For the true homies that watched to the end of the episode, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, it's been a hot minute since we had a little review-y on there. Go give us a 5-star rating if you feel compelled to, and leave a nice little note. Let other people know that you're enjoying the show. Just tell them to skip this episode.
And tell me in the comments, this is a Scott special request, what your favorite Obara Sand moment is. Your absolute favorite one. There's so many to choose from.
Dipshit, dude.
There's so many to choose from. You have to tell me. Narrow it down to one. One only, please. Your favorite
Yeah.
Favorite one.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.